That's Ricky Legere is getting ready to fight Todd Moore coming up here on Tiny Fighting Championships. Of course, this is MMA Oddsbreaker, and I'm Frank Trigg, your host. And we're just talking about the kids. Ricky's kids go down a little bit earlier than my kids. It's 9:40 at night. Mine should be in bed, but they're both sitting here looking at me like I'm an idiot because I'm talking about bedtime. What time do your kids usually go down?
I just put my son down about 9:10, and then my daughter goes down about 9:15, 9:20.
How old are they?
My daughter's 5, and then my son is 16 months.
Oh, geez. Wow, youngins. I got right here in the house, I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, but I have a 12-year-old daughter as well as a 21-year-old son. So trying to put the 21 down for bed is kind of difficult come Friday and Saturday night. He tends to want to stay up a little later than his dad does, so a little hard. They're taunting me. My kids are taunting me off camera. I kid you not. They're taunting me after the interview. I'm not joking. They're taunting.
They're like, Dad can't do nothing. He's on camera.
It's recorded if he beats us. It's recorded.
Yeah.
How is it getting through training camp with kids?
Man, it's tough because some days, you're ready to go to train, and then they're like, Dad, no, stay. And they give you that look, and they don't want you to go. But at the end of the day, it's like, I got to get out there. I got to go because I got to make the money and keep the family supported.
I've been real lucky because obviously you trained Dan Henderson. I trained with Randy Couture when I was competing, and Randy's gym and every gym he's ever been in, the way we've always been is if your kids are with you, they want to come to the gym, they come to the gym. There's a space for them to play and screw around. As of late, it's had to change up because too many. I don't want to call them low-level pros, but they're essentially low-level pros. They're guys that don't really bring any value to the workouts. They're basically mid-level amateurs that have pro fights, and they're bringing their kids, and the kids are rambunctious and causing problems, and it's like you're trying to punch this guy in the head, and he's got to take off to take care of his kid. Do you guys have the same problem at Henderson's?
Sometimes we do. We're fortunate because we do have like a kids club where the kids are able to go in there, but sometimes there's those kids that don't want to go in kids club, and you're like in the middle of sparring, and the guy's like, "Oh, I got to go because I got my kid that is crying," and you're like, dude, I'm only halfway through this round. Let's go.
Yeah, it's not bad when they have the fight coming up and you're there helping them out and they got to take off. Like, okay, whatever, I'm good. But when you're trying to prepare for a fight and they got to bolt out, it's a little disrespectful.
Yeah.
I'm lucky that where my kids, both of them have been in the gym since they were 6 weeks old. Stone, my 5-year-old, went to his first fight when I fought Nico Vitale up in Denver at 8 weeks old. So they've been traveling their whole lives. They've been in gyms their whole lives. They understand what it's like to be in a gym, what the protocol is, what the mannerisms are, what they're allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do. Shouldn't there also almost be a course for guys with kids that want to go to practice, like what your kids are allowed to do and not do in a gym?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. There should be like, hey, this is what's allowed, this is what's not allowed. Like your kid cries, finish the round, and then go get him.
They're not dying unless there's blood involved. They're fine. Just let them cry.
Yeah.
Finish the round. And you can almost count it off as good training for background noise when the crowd is booing you, because it's almost like the same kind of noise. Like, oh, is it really for me or is it really somebody else's? Like, what's the deal? So, well, I know if you train with Henderson, you're a tape watcher. And that you know what your opponent's going to do, you know what he's going to bring to you. Break down your opponent for us and tell us what you see when you're watching tape on him.
I definitely see he likes to strike. He likes to kind of stand up and throw some big punches from the outside. He definitely gives up a lot of takedowns. A lot of guys that he's fought have been able to kind of take him down and grind him out. He fought Jason High his most recent loss, and Jason High kind of did that same thing, took him down and ground him out. And to me, it seems like off his back, he kind of feels comfortable just hanging out there, looking to get a couple strikes from the bottom.
You bring him down pretty much the same way that I see him when I'm watching tape on him. If I was going to call the fight as a commentator and do the analysis work on it, I see him being the same kind of character. The one thing that worries me is that sometimes when he gets in trouble from the bottom, he gets very desperate. And a desperate fighter is very dangerous because they'll do things that you're not expecting to become unorthodox. Do you see any of that, or do you, in his fighting, or do you actually see a pattern when he's being unorthodox, how he goes at things?
I don't see a pattern, but I do see he does become super unorthodox. Like he'll throw some wicked stuff. Sometimes he'll give up his back just to try to get top position, or he'll sit somewhere crazy just so he can try to get you to make the mistake and get a little high on his back and try to throw you over and come out the back door and look at getting on top.
The guys like that always do make me a little nervous because they bring something to the fight that you're not expecting. And it's the unpredictability of a guy. Like, when you fight certain guys, this is what he's going to do in every situation. He may be the best in the world and in all of history in this particular situation, but you know what he's going to do. So at least you have a shot of catching him. Unorthodox, random guys that just don't think straight makes it really nervous because half the time they're not really doing something that's going to finish the fight. They're throwing a haymaker random elbow in the middle of something that you're running into, and you lose because you get cut. Or you lose because something bad. You're like, what the hell just happened? Like he threw it out of no place, and you're in the fight. You're like, he meant to do that. Like he was trying to figure it out, and you go back and watch the tape, and you're like, he had no clue what he was doing. He made it up in the middle of the round.
That's kind of how his striking looks. Standing up, he's got some big punches, and man, you kind of look like, do I go in now? Do I stay back? It's kind of like a double dutch when you're jump roping. You kind of watch those ropes come. You're like, do I go in now? Do I go in?
Yeah, no, it's exactly what it's like. So. Let's go back and look at your record for a second. You're on a pretty good fight win streak right now. Your last loss was to Adam Lynn, and that was back in 2010. Like it's been a long time, right? Since the last time that you've actually tasted defeat. The last time out that you fought was back in August of 2013 in Titan, excuse me, in TPF, and Joey Cabezas was your opponent. How has it been? And you starting to feel the pressure from being on such a long win streak, like because now you beat guys like Chris Spang. It's not like you just got a bunch of nobodies. You're beating guys that actually have names: Joe Lewis, Chris Spang, Rafael Ladanza, Chris Van Zelt, Seventh Hamasi. Like these are guys that are named guys that you're beating, and doing well. Like are you starting to feel the pressure of having like, wow, I'm on a long win streak right now?
No, I wouldn't say the pressure, but I definitely. I keep thinking in the back of my mind, my wife says the same thing. It's like, man, when's your shot? You keep getting all these wins and people keep telling you, oh man, one more, rally off one more. And you're right there. And it's kind of like, shit, man, how many more do I got to rally off?
Yeah, it becomes kind of problematic because now you're in a situation where everybody wants you to keep rallying. You're in a nine fight win streak. And you're at the space to all of a sudden hit that 10 fight win streak. And most guys, when they start fighting, want to get to 10-0. And you had a 10 fight win streak out of your, and it's pretty interesting because you're 18-4, but you've won the last 9 in a row. It's like it's ridiculous. So like your record is 18-4, Todd's record is 16-5. So relatively speaking, you're close record wise on paper. So if somebody's sitting at home, these guys are evenly matched. But you go back and look at quality of opponent and win streaks in a row, and there's a lot to go into a win streak. I don't care who you are, how you train. You can fight the biggest tomato cans on the entire planet. But to fight 8 of them in a row and win every single time is very difficult. Now 9 and looking at 10, that's very hard. God forbid you become like a Fedor or Vanderlei Silva back in the Pride days when they're like at 20, 25, and 30 guys in a row. It's just like, that's just ridiculous. Like that'll never happen again. But it's the streak you're on, you have to be gamed every time. Like every time your opponent brings something that could end the fight that you haven't prepared for, but you find a way to win every single time. Where does that come from? Because it's not taught. That's something that's just in your system, like in your ability. Is that something you got from your mom, from your dad, from your brothers beating you up when you were little? Like, where's that come from?
I definitely probably from my dad and my brothers. I grew up with a younger brother that was always like that gifted athlete. So he's always out there and he gets everything like it's nothing. Walks on and doesn't practice and he's good at this and good at that. And me, I'm the guy that's got to train my ass off to keep up. So it was always like, we always competitive. We'd box in the front yard and he'd just barely touch me. And I'd be like, God damn, I can't even hit him once. And I think that was part of it. Just kept me relentless and just tugging and working at it.
How far apart are you two in age between you and
16 months.
Wow. Almost Irish twins. Jeez.
Yes.
Good for your mom and your dad.
Yeah. It was a rough house.
Yeah, my brother. I'm in the middle of 7, and my youngest one just beneath me is 3 years younger, and it's a bit of a battle. It's always been a bit of a battle, and that honestly is how I ended up being an athlete because I was competitive by nature and then competed with them all the time in every aspect of the game, never won, no matter what it was. They were always smarter, faster, stronger, bigger, better, whatever it was. But at the end of the day, I ended up being the athlete because I just couldn't stop. I just can't give it up. Is that something you want for your kids? Do you want your son and daughter to be in the same space in 10 years from now, 18 years from now?
Definitely same space. I already see it now. My daughter, she's 5, and I mean, every chance she gets, it's hey, let's race here, and then hey, I bet I can beat you here. Hey, no, you can't beat me. I can beat you. Watch me. I can do this. And her when her brother gets a little more attention, she kind of goes around and he'll knock him down or tackle him, and he'll turn around and get mad at her and try to tackle her, and it just you can see it. They're ready back and forth like me and my brother. It's like crazy.
Are you gonna try to grow that and water it and kind of, fertilize it and kind of push that competitive nature and have them push up? Or are you more of are you and your wife more parents where you're like, oh no, no one needs to win. Everybody needs to be, there's ties are okay. Like what kind of parenting stats are you from?
There's definitely no ties. You have to be a winner. I'm sorry. In life, there's no ties. It's like it's not. Hey, I'm sorry. Both you guys are really good at this job, but maybe we'll both hire you. No, it's like, hey, you're better or you're not better, and we kind of instill that in our children. At the end of the day, it's like you got to be the best at what you do. Yeah. Otherwise, there's no point of doing it.
Like I don't understand this whole having these baseball teams, these soccer games where everybody scores a goal and there's no real winner, and like, what are you talking about? Like. And you wonder why our kids can't take care of themselves and why bullying now all of a sudden is such a big problem in this world. Like it makes no sense at all because these kids are so used to being ties and everybody wins and everything's okay. That's not how reality works. You're gonna apply for a job, you're not gonna get it. Sometimes someone's gonna tell you no. Sometimes your boss just sucks. It's just how it is. But you gotta learn how to deal with it. You gotta learn how to get around it. It drives me nuts when parents are like, and I'm lucky with especially with Stone and Lavin, my ex-wife is. We are on the same page, at least on that, where ties don't work. You've got to win. You've got to be the best at what you do. But I've talked to a lot of athletes. I've talked to a lot of fighters where they're like, no. My kids are in that space where ties are okay, and I don't. You're a professional athlete. Like, what are you talking about? You're teaching your kids to do the exact opposite of what you do. I don't get it. I don't understand where it goes.
Yeah, it's crazy. I see it all the time. I teach at a UFC gym, and I mean, it's like the parents are like, "Oh, well, do they get a participation award?" No, you don't. You either get a first place medal or you go home. Like, there's no participation. Well, I mean, they came out and they did good, and I'm like, no, you either win or you lose.
It's very simple. It's very simple. Only one winner. Only one guy takes second. Only one person takes third. That's just how life is. Not everyone's going to beat Steve Jobs. Not everybody's going to beat Bill Gates. Not everybody's going to be Dana White. Not everybody's going to be, going to be Bjorn Remsky. It's just not going to happen. Like it doesn't work that way. The world has not a checks and balance system, but it has a hierarchy. It's the same. That's what we fight for every day is to be the hierarchy, to be the highest of the hierarchy, where we got the belt. That's what we're trying to strive for. So let's talk about Titan. Real quick. Your next fight coming up, and how has it been so far? And I don't know your degrees of separation. I don't know if your manager deals with everything or you deal with everything or how it's dealt with. What's it been like dealing with them so far?
So far, it's been really good. I'm really stoked on the publicity. I mean, they do a lot of marketing and getting your name out there and getting the word out there. And I think that's part of my problem. I mean, I'm on this 8-fight win streak. I haven't lost since 2000. I believe it's 10 or something like that. And I'm still that guy that, when people talk about it in the circle, they're like, oh, well, who's that guy? And it's like with Titan, I'm getting out there. I've done a ton of interviews and radios and they're tweeting all the time. And like I said, I'm new to this Twitter and it's like, bam, they're just getting me out there, getting fans. And,
yeah. What the hell is wrong with you? You're new to Twitter? Like Twitter's almost MySpace at this point. Like, how are you new to Twitter?
Keeps saying, I'm not a super crazy social media guy, but I guess I got to be now.
Yeah, it's our fight. Our game has turned from just being a great fighter and my jiu-jitsu is better than your kung fu. It's now you have to be an entertainer. Part of it's being on Twitter and Facebook and everything else. What's your Twitter handle?
It's at the IE Bad Boy.
Inland Empire has never been more pushed than when it comes to you. It's funny. The whole time I lived in California, we used to make fun of everybody up in the Inland Empire. It's the black socks, black shoes, black shorts, black hat, black sunglasses, black shirt. Driving a black car. That's what the Inland Empire is. And all of a sudden now you're like it's become like a new almost a new. It's like saying you live in Beverly Hills. Like I live in Beverly Hills. No, I live in the IE, baby. Like I'm in the OC. Like what are you talking about? It's a status symbol now, and you're the one
Yep.
that has the nickname that runs with it. Have you had to fight anybody off, like to keep the nickname, or has been other guys trying to take the nickname from you?
I mean, every once in a while you hear some bad boys, but nobody's ever tried taking the IE bad boy. It's like, IE's kind of small out here, so I kind of run everything.
Well, I gotta disagree with that because I think Henderson's gonna have a couple words about that as well. Where there's a couple of things that he runs that you're not running.
That's for sure.
Pretty much his bank account is pretty much what he's running that you're not running.
Yeah, definitely. He's got a good one. And that H-bomb.
Yeah, I know, right? That stinging thing, no matter what you do. How many times have you been hit with that during practice?
A couple times.
How
I try to usually duck under and shoot the double leg when it comes.
See, that's the exact same thing that I tried when we first started training together way back in the day. And it, he's just one of those guys. Even when you shoot on him, he still doesn't move. So
Yep.
you end up hurting yourself anyway. You miss the H bomb, but then you hit your shoulder on his hip. It's just as bad.
Yeah, and then he gets you in a clinch, and now you're working Greco-Roman, which is his game.
And now it's become just a bad long. And you're begging for the belt. Please let the belt come off. Please let the belt come off.
How much longer left in this round?
All right, Ricky, we've been all over the place in this interview. I appreciate you coming on here with us. It's been fun to finally get a hold of you. Amanda's been telling me for months, for weeks, I need an interview, and I finally got it worked out. So I appreciate you coming on here. Good luck in Titan against Todd Moore. It's gonna be a great fight coming April 25th. I can't wait to see it.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man.
You got it. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, thanks.